What's up, nerds? Welcome or welcome back. My name is Kelsey Martin. I have a PhD in marine biology. I'm a fishery biologist, but really, I'm just a nerd with a spear gun. Got a really cool episode for you guys today where I was diving the largest intentional artificial reef in the world. It's a really cool behemoth of a vessel, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. But before we begin, if you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on to be tuned in when I post more nerdy content. And for the rest of you, I've wanted to thank you all so much for all the support that I've received lately. And if you wouldn't mind tapping on your screen and pressing that thumbs up button, really helps me out. Enjoy. The U.S.S. Oriskany, otherwise known as the Mighty O. Commissioned in 1950, this vessel is 888 feet long. She received 12 battle stars, serving in the Korean and Vietnam Wars. Now she lies beneath the surface, serving a different purpose, allowing divers from all over the world to come and explore and see one of the coolest artificial reefs in the world. But how did she get there? Well, on May 17, 2006, she was towed 22 nautical miles south of Pensacola. It took 500 pounds of C4 to sink her. She was estimated to take about 4 hours to sink. It took 37 minutes. Luckily, she came to rest perfectly upright in 212 feet of water. I really hope you guys enjoy this dive because I know I did. It was super eerie, but really cool to see her come into view as we finally got below the surface murk layer. We had really good visibility this day. It was an absolutely beautiful dive. I think it's hilarious that my buddy John had absolutely no idea that she was lurking behind him until he turned his head. And then you can see as soon as he turns his head, she turns away. And that's because sandbars and most other sharks are ambush predators. They like to be in your blind spot. They don't want you looking at them. So most sharks, as soon as you look at them, you will see them turn away. But you always got to keep an eye on the one behind you. Throughout the video, you'll see a couple more of them. There were 3 big sandbars just kind of looming around the reef. And yes, I know they look like bull sharks. They were sandbar sharks. Sandbars have a really distinct ridge between their first and second dorsal fin, as you can see up here on the screen. Whereas bull sharks don't. They are flat between their first and second dorsal fin. So, of the species that are common in the Gulf that are also ridgeback species, that means it can only be a sandbar, dusky, silky, Caribbean reef shark, tiger, but obviously this is not a tiger shark, and a night shark. But sandbars have another unique identifying feature, and that is a very broad or tall first dorsal fin. Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Had to get distracted by sharks for a little bit. I love them. But it's really cool to see, after 19 years, all the barnacle and algae and coral that's accumulated on this ship and the kind of life that she brings. When I look up, you can see the American flag and a POW flag. And I started to go through and explore the tunnel, what is now a tunnel, an underwater tunnel through her tower. And you can just see all the life that's aggregated around. A structure like this is obviously going to bring in a lot of different species and just a lot of fish in general. And I think in a future episode, I'm going to talk about the differences between low relief and high relief artificial reef and why you're more likely to find different types of species on high relief artificial reefs. So stay tuned for that in a future episode. And of course I'm getting distracted by the sharks again, but they're just so cool and so graceful to swim with in the water. It's one of my favorite things, honestly. And to see them in just this cool, relaxed state is really, really special. And I hope that everybody gets to do it one day. Whether you're afraid of sharks or you're not, you can't deny that swimming with these monsters just chilling in the water, cruising on by, wouldn't be cool. As you can see, my buddy is enjoying this dive just as much as I am. He's pretty stoked to be diving a huge aircraft carrier like this. And I'm coming around the tower here, and we've only just explored the tower. The deck is at 145 feet, and with the kind of tanks that we were rocking, we just couldn't, it didn't make sense to go down onto the deck. There's not much life sitting out on the deck, but you can see these, I do spot these two grouper just kind of hanging out above the deck, and gag at this point are not in season, but black grouper are. So this one on the right that I kind of start following it, I'm not sure if it's a gag or black, so I'm kind of following it just to check, just to make sure. And of course, as soon as you give a fish any sort of attention, it kind of spooks a little bit, so this one starts to just sort of casually swim away from me and ends up going into the bridge here. And I keep looking for it, but I can't spot it again, and I'm pretty sure it was a gag anyway. Now that I've kind of swum around a little bit, I wanted to orient you with where I've explored, and you can see my little logo at the top. That's where I start. And so I came around here towards the bow of the ship and then swung around, went through the tower, got distracted by the sharks, started looking at the grouper, and then I came over, and this is where we're resting now. So just to give you a little map of where I've traveled so far in my dive, and just now a little reference to how little that is of the ship. It's slightly unfortunate that this ship is so huge and you have so little time to explore. Because of the depth and the air that we're using, it's just not feasible to make this dive a really long dive. It's unsafe. You have to be a tech diver and with special equipment if you want to really make this a long dive and explore the entire wreck. So at this point, we have just about maxed out our time. So I start making my way back up the superstructure and spot that shark behind me one more time. And then my buddy and I work our way back up and start getting ready for our safety stop. But before we get to our safety stop, I spot one of my absolute favorite fish. I was super excited. So on our way up here, I spot in the distance one of my absolute favorite fish coming our way. And if you're wondering why I didn't shoot it, these are juveniles, but we also had 2 African pompano at the boat at this point, and the daily limit on African pompano is 2 per vessel. And I love that there's just a spadefish chilling with these African pompano, like it's also a big, bad, pelagic, cool-looking fish. Nah, dude, you're basic. So while we're chilling at our safety stop, pretending to mess with the barracuda, I want to remind you guys to tap your screen, press that like button, press your thumbs up button, and subscribe if you're new. And I'm gonna wrap it up. So there she is, the U.S.S. Oriskany, the mighty O, now known as the Great Carrier Reef, being towed out to her final resting place. And here we have her leaving the port at Pensacola, where she traveled 22 nautical miles, settled perfectly on the bottom, and became the largest intentional artificial reef in the world. However, she is scheduled to be surpassed by the U.S.S. United States, which is currently being set up to be reefed sort of just down the road from me in Mobile Bay, where she is currently docked. And when she is ready, there's no scheduled date yet, and she will then become the largest intentional artificial reef in the world at 990 feet. And I gotta tell you, I can't wait to do that dive. She'll be reefed in about 180 feet of water, so a little bit more accessible to those not operating tech gear. But until that time, I absolutely love diving the U.S.S. Oriskany, and I cannot wait to dive her again.